So I want to begin this video with statistics I worked so hard to gather, and it's from my scouting reports. I have a handful of slides here with tables. The first table here, I charted run pass situation by situation. So as you can see here, first down, it's a 70% run, 30% pass, despite personnel. Now in 11 personnel, it gets deeper than 70%. So you can see here it's first down, 70% run, 30% pass. It's most likely a heavy inside zone, a duo for Judkins, or an outside zone even. And then I put the notes here. So on first down, in this case, I would be in a 4-3 overlook or a 3-4 look. Middle linebacker, in terms of linebackers, I want the middle linebacker inside. And obviously there's a Sam on the strong side here. And then there's the Sam on the strong side, obviously. And then that obviously forces a predictable second down. And I would for sure play cover 4 in this case because that defense has the safeties in run support. So they basically come down into the box post snap to help with the run. Obviously, I'm going to disguise it, so say I can play a one hole, and then with the safety kind of tangling between the in the upper box area, and then he pops up post snap because I don't want them to hit me with the play action and kind of suck my safeties down. They don't usually do that because their percentage on high pass plays isn't that much, but you want to keep your team safe and play situational football. So here we got second and medium, which is 4 to 6 yards, 60% run, 40% pass. Obviously a higher percentage of pass, but the run, which is their main strength, is is the most here. And they still run. It's obviously a still run first. They set up play action. So for example, they would run on first down, and then on second down, you'd think it's another run. That's when they set up the play action to catch you into that cover 4 and kind of do what I just explained to get that first down or stay in front of the chains and make it a third and very imaginable. So now second down so now they can't really run. So now they're second down and now they can't really do what they want on second down here. Now it's third and short. Then it's third and short where it's 90% run. They want the first down. They're going to run power, inside zone, or a wildcat with Judkins, just like last game against Miami where they pulled out the wildcat in these third and shorts. And how I would attack it, I would want it to be in a 4-4 defense, a bare front. I want cover 0. I want the safeties in the box. Obviously, they can kind of take that one-on-one, kind of burn me if I'm in that defense, and that's why I emphasize on disguise. The cornerbacks are going to show cushion. The defensive line are going to penetrate the A and B gaps, and all linebackers are going to be assigned 2 gaps in the run fit to stop the inside powers or dives or whatever the case may be, especially with Judkins, a tough running back. And if it's third and medium, I'm going to call a 4-3 over defense, just like I would on first down. Something similar to that in that nature, right? Because it's a bigger personnel on defense. But I'm going to call it cover 2 because cover 2 limits the outside runs even more, as well as play action. So if they're going to pass on third down, it could be a play action. So that's why I want that cover 2. 1, prevent outside runs, and if they do run, they get onto a 4th and short. And then if it's play action, I got the hook zones and the flat cornerbacks taking things away until my pass rush gets in. Or I'm playing a cover 3 strong or a cover 3 buzz, a middle field closed look where I have the free safety in the box so he could crash down. And either way, whether it's pass, play action, whatever, I'm safe here, and I guarantee myself to get them hopefully on a 4th down, as opposed to playing, for example, a cover 4 where they could play action and quick throw it, and it gives them a better chance to convert that into a first down. And that's why I would actually go that route. And let's talk personnel. So personnel, 11 personnel look, which is one running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. 45% of the snaps. Obviously, Gabriel is comfortable here because a lot of RPOs come out of this personnel. meaning they have the option to run, which by the way, the runs on RPOs do affect the numbers of like percentage of runs. So for example, on third and short, they have a 90% of running, but that probably is an RPO. So he probably has the option to pass on that to a quick slant or whatever. But that look definitely is the look where Gabriel is used to, and he's used to it from Oregon. You got 12 personnel, which is a heavier look with 2 tight ends, 1 running back. That's 35%. And then 21 personnel, an even heavier look, which is 2 running backs, 1 tight end. Most likely it's going to be a split close here. It's 15%, so it's short yardage. They have 2 running backs in the backfield out of a split close or something in that nature. And it's something where they want to hit a flat or a wheel, mostly used on short yardage situations to where you crash down even more because you see 2 running backs. And then if it's a cross action, so he hands it off to the first running back, it's a fake. It's a play action. And then he hands it off to the second guy and it's a fake. And then he sucks the middle linebackers down. And that's where he can throw a quick drag or a quick over. That's where that comes in handy. And then obviously 10 personnel, which is 0 tight ends and 1 running back, 4 wide receivers. This is 5%. And I put 2 stars here because it's usually used in 2 minutes. They rarely use it. And yes, it was hard work. I had to go back to see that precise situation. And the past 3 games didn't have 2-minute drills. I wanted to see their tendencies and their reactions on 2-minute drills to certain things like pressure, certain coverages. And they did run a 2-minute drill when they played the Rams in the preseason. And I took that part of that game. I didn't obviously watch it all because it's preseason. Obviously, I'd look at this 11 personnel. It gives you the look and idea that they're passing, and then they run. So they try to trick you from that aspect. But I think going into this game ready, knowing the defensive coverages I want to play, I think I can give myself the best chance to succeed. So let's go on to the next slide here. We got formation. We got a chart where I charted it according to either under center or shotgun. Shotgun, most of the time, you can run RPOs out of there, all dropbacks and many zone runs out of that. So it's a pass look, as I said, most likely shotgun. And then you got under center, which is way less because you're giving the run look away. And it is used especially on third downs in this pass heavy league, and especially with the RPOs. I think shotgun here does make sense. Then it's the type of motion used. A jet motion is when the receiver crosses jets, like speeds across the formation, and an orbit formation is where a eligible goes around the quarterback. This is so popular by the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. But pre-snap motion, that's not jet in orbit, that's 52%. So like a loop motion, a rip motion, which is like a jet but by a tight end. So it's basically what they utilize these type of motions to kind of fake the idea that they're passing, and then they end up running. And I hope you're noticing a trend here of kind of disguising the run or disguising the play actions by doing different things. And you see the third table here, I got concept. So I got the concept, whether it's play action or RPO. 45% of pass plays are play action, and obviously it gives them a better chance knowing that the defense is they're trying to freeze the linebackers because is it a run? Is it a RPO? Oh no, it's a play action. So they want to freeze those linebackers or suck them down, especially if it's a cover 4 where they can suck the safeties down. And the efficiency is about 8 yards per attempt on play action. And then you got the RPO, which is 15% of total offensive plays. And I explain this later in the video when I explain the offensive strengths, and then I explain how I expect Stefanski and that Cleveland Brown offense to raise this number significantly, especially with Gabriel Dillon here. This is his 3rd game he starts. He had a 72-73% completion rate using RPOs at Oregon were his primary thing. So it does make sense that RPO usage increased to 15% after they traded away Joe Flacco. It perfectly makes sense. And now that Gabriel Dillon comes in, knowing that he almost won the Heisman because he was an RPO master, they inflated his numbers up. So they're boosting that up as we speak. Let's go to the next slide here. And I know this may be a lot. I worked out so hard on it. I hope you're impressed. Third down conversion rate, 4 out of 11 they went, which is 36.4%. Red zone, 2 for 3, which is 66.7%. And then the 2-minute drill here, they only had one drive. And I had to go back to the preseason game they had against the Los Angeles Rams. Now you got this table right here. You got inside the 20, whether it's run or pass, and the percentage of calls. So if it's a run inside the 20, you absolutely know who they're giving it to in that 20. It's obviously Judkins, and you saw it against Miami and how he impacted the whole team, and against Green Bay. And then there's the passing, 30% in that 20. Obviously they're trying to shrink space even more to where they can run a quick pass, a quick slant, or RPO in the 5-yard line. And it's just approaching it that way. Like, their strength is the run. Their strength is with Gabriel Dillon starting his 3rd game, knowing that he can ace any short pass. And the Cleveland Browns drafted him knowing he's a RPO guy. And they saw his tape at Oregon. It's not like they blind drafted him, so they know. And they drafted Judkins because he was the best running back on the board at that moment. And then they took the best quarterback to suit that, who was available at that moment, in Gabriel Dillon, who they thought they could build an offense around, knowing that he has a great running back in Kudshawn Judkins, opening the RPO game, opening the play-action game, in which Gabriel Dillon is a professional at, and he showed it in college. And now next table here, you see how I categorized it. And the turnovers were 0%, and Gabriel Dillon excels at not turning the ball over. And yes, there are punts, but I mean in terms of getting intercepted or fumbling the ball, just losing the ball and putting it into the defense's hands. Gabriel doesn't do that. And yes, he plays it safe. The short plays and the conservative plays really helping Cleveland move the ball at a high level. But it's still not allowing him to turn the ball over. And finally, for the last slide I have, if this is too much, wait till you see how I scout the defense and break down film. So appreciate you if you're still here. You obviously see here these stats, and they're given after every game. Unlike everything I talked to up to this point where I have to find and write down, you see here 33 run plays, 24 pass plays, 57 total offensive snaps. And then I calculated the percentages. You divide. But where it gets cool is efficiency in key situations. The offense third down percentage conversion rate, 36.4% last game. Ouch. And then Cleveland's third down percentage on defense, so they defended 7.7, which is 1 out of 13. And then red zone efficiency for the Cleveland Browns against the Miami Dolphins was 66.7%. So they converted 2 out of 3. And then you see here the percentage of run despite of personnel. I can break down into personnel is 57.8% and pass is 42.1. This obviously includes RPOs, so you have the option to keep it or throw it or run it yourself, which is why they use it with Gabriel, and it increased dramatically up to 15 after Joe Flacco was gone, because Joe Flacco was more of drop back, and obviously he can't. That Gabriel ran in Oregon where he had the threat to run and also run and pass. But we need to get into the strengths, the weaknesses, and the film. I can't wait till you see how I break down the film. Let's go.